Hi, I'm Tim.
I'm Josh.
I'm Ethan.
We're the Men from Mars. We're an indie psych folk band from here in Las Cruces, Mexico. We're here at the Range Studios. They were gracious enough to let us occupy their space and bug them for how long has it been? 3 hours now. And so we're here to make a playlist to kind of get the general feel of how we are and how we operate in the Men from Mars.
Music that influences us, helps us in writing songs, helps us get in the mood for just being creative. So the first song I chose is You by the Field Medic. He is a folk artist as well, and this song is just real lovey-dovey, and I try to have some lovey-dovey songs whenever we write. There's been one on The Shop, there's been one on Ghosts, and it really, let's see, I'm gonna make a new playlist. I'm just gonna title it The Men from Mars. Oh no, it's just called You Feel Me. That'll work. But yeah, he really just speaks to lovey-dovey folk music to me, and I feel that's a necessity when you're writing a song for this band.
All I ever needed was your Siamese kiss to cleanse me of the spookiness, to clear the fog, see through the mist, to give my sorrow a plot twist. I want you.
Tim?
All right. Let's see. I think the first one I'll follow along with this. Whoopsie daisy. Follow along with this lovey-dovey train that we're on here, and as much talk and joke as we did on it, I'm gonna add. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's Honey. This is also a nice kind of lovey-dovey, fun folk rock song. I'm a huge King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard fan. I really like this particular song. The microtonal blend in the music with the acoustics is something that was really interesting and hadn't really done before. That particular track really spoke to me, and it's got a really great groove on it. And I'm a big fan of anything that's got an odd time signature. So the 7/8 it kind of rides into making it feel like a kind of 4/4 song, which is just kind of hits just right for me.
You taste like honey, warm and funny, kinder than candy, effortless Chevy. Days are ever sweeter when I wake up near you. The world we're in is broken, and you're the magic potion.
All right. My first song is, called Isle Unto Thyself by Miracle Musical. And while Miracle Musical isn't so much, folk, it is very much so psychedelic. And the lyrics in this song and many others on this album are very poetic, and they just use like combinations of words that you just never think to use. And I think in writing music, I can just drag this. I think in writing music, wait, what the?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And in writing music, I feel like it's important to just kind of branch out in terms of like your vocabulary and stuff in the lyrics that you write.
Camouflaging under strife or other matters, minds over matters, let there be more. Maybe you'll mix it to my facade, shooting off is your eyes, sudden invincible flowing over, clearer than all of my purified eyes.
For my second song, it's called Cold Water History by Saint Seneca, and they're another folk band that is a huge influence on how I write. This song in particular is just, the imagery is really beautiful, and it talks about just accepting your fate and going hand in hand with somebody. So both positive and negative aspects of just being a human being. And I feel like in this album in particular, we do have a lot of darker themes, but to try and balance that, there is a lot of mentions of things like light, things like joy and happiness, getting lost in somebody else. So this song definitely influences how I go about talking about like diametrically opposed ideas.
Sailing along the shadowy bay,
let's see. For my next song, I'm gonna do this tune. It's actually a song I've been recently listening to that I feel very attached to. It's by Jackson C. Frank, and if I learned how to type, it would be called "I Want to Be Alone." This is a really beautiful old piece of kind of folk music. It's just this guy and his guitar. I think he really only did maybe 1 to 2 albums back in the early 60s. And I'm a excuse me, I'm a big fan of music that has a kind of touch of haunting, aesthetic and just kind of feel. So the particular way that the quietness of the vocals and the guitar just by himself, with this really unique kind of reverb in the room that he was recording in, everything kind of brings in this really haunting sort of touch that's always kind of reached out to me as a musician, and just the mixture of the melancholy of the idea of being alone and the kind of the sort of comfort that you find within that, because it's not all bad just to be alone sometimes, and I think that's important.
I want to be alone. I need to touch each stone, face the grave that I have grown. I want to be alone.
Times have definitely made us try to get more used to that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my next song. Oh my goodness, this thing.
I feel that 100%.
It's a song by Childish Gambino,
Very good.
and it's the first song off of Awaken My Love, Me and Your Mama. And what I love about this song is that it does a lot of different things really well together. Like it does like desperation. It's so well in you can hear like in his voice like how just him like begging for this companionship. And it also does atmosphere really well in like the beginning and in the end of the song, where it's just like the slow like underlying melody across this just this big open area. And I feel like atmosphere is another really important thing when you're writing calmer songs and stuff, and you just let it go on for as long as it goes on, however long you feel it needs to go on. That's my second pick.
Awesome. Good. Yeah, solid. All right, for my third pick, I'm going with... It's a song I actually heard last week. It was in my Discover Weekly, but it's called Pleasure Pen by Nancy. And it is, like Ethan was talking about atmosphere, the song creates a really spacey, honestly, just sexy atmosphere. It makes me feel just deep in a groove, and the bass in it, there's deep bass, electronic bass, and there's a deep vocal line that's happening in the background that's been octave shifted. It just, it hits my ears in all the right ways. I feel like Tim does really good mixes that are the left and right panning to each ear that do similar things. So I feel that definitely influences how we sound in terms of atmosphere.
Very cool. Okay. For my next one, this is one of my favorite, most kind of recent I guess he's been around for a while, but I recently discovered him. Artist. His name is Richard Dawson. This song is called Black Triangle. This guy's a really interesting kind of post-rock, borderline math rock artist, which is something that I'm also huge on. I really love, like I said, odd time signatures and math rock and kind of weird, just finding ways to, like, the most complicated and avant-garde ways to work around a melody is something that I find a lot of intrigue in. Makes me feel like an actual musician sometimes. But Black Triangle is, I feel it really connects with the band in a lot of ways. In its length, for one, it's quite a relatively lengthy song with a bunch of different changes in it, which is something that we're somewhat known for, and I like to try and push for having a few different changes in our songs as time, as it goes on, to keep things interesting. But what really speaks to me on this particular track is the lyricism in particular. He's very Richard Dawson is very, very like specific and detailed in building these worlds within songs through the lyrics, and like one of the best storytellers I've ever seen. And this song has always kind of reminded me actually of me and Josh a little bit, in the way that the song describes just like two guys going out and having some food, and then they go home and they happen to run across a UFO. And through that they grow, one of them grows a relative obsession over it. And spoiler alert, it kind of ruins his life a little bit, but it may not have all been in vain. And I just really like the way that he weaves the story through these passages of instrumentation that go from these really slow grooves to these really high-paced, tense, like kind of melodic structures, I guess.
It appeared from the south, flew right over my parents' house. We'd been for the lumps of Aldecott Park. A black triangle, I swear upon my...
Yeah, that's me.
All right, for my third pick, I'm gonna go with my favorite song by Gorillaz. Empire Ants from Plastic Beach.
So good.
And this song, like Me and Your Mama from Childish Gambino, does atmosphere really well. And it does like have like a dramatic change, like pretty halfway through the song, where like, it goes from like this like kind of like acoustic, like spacey feel like song to this like very like electronic heavy like song. And it's those are like two things that don't really transition well usually, but like they are able to do it very nice. And I think like as songwriters you can learn a lot from that by like, and I think we try to do that too in our songwriting. Definitely. To like try to shift genres a little bit in the middle of a song. And that's definitely a huge inspiration.
God, the production on that song is just immaculate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold you, rolling out and haunted till it's sleep.
I'll be honest, I used to be one that I skipped all the time. So these guys started like convincing me to listen to them more. I was like, okay, no, that's good. It's really good.
And the transition from super fast Jellyfish into that is just like total
So good.
tonal changes.
Plastic Beach.
Beautiful.
That album in general, it's just so good. For my fourth pick, I'm going with the song by Todd Slant, Told Slant, called Algae Bloom. As the name kind of implies, it deals with stagnation, and also the difficulty in facing someone that you used to be really close with. In this album that we've been working on, Ghosts, it's definitely a theme that I've been working off of, and just trying to get through rough times, and just realizing that even when you're in a moment of stagnation, there's growth that can happen, such as algae bloom. So that is my fourth pick.
Still water is 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 still
like a thundercloud. Yell my lungs right out of my mouth. You look like algae bloom when you're down, 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 down.
All right. For my fourth pick, I'm going to go ahead and do this one's actually a cover of a song that I think is okay, but the cover definitely speaks a lot more to me, and that's going to be Weird Fishes by Lianne La Havas. And this particular version is, I wouldn't even call it stripped down, but it does follow a very similar path that like Empire Ants does. I think is a really good kind of comparison to that one. They take Weird Fishes from Radiohead's wow, I cannot remember the name of that album. In Rainbows. And
So don't look at me.
Ethan. But it's one of the more popular songs on that, and she does a really great job with her band of first and foremost putting it into a halftime, so it breaks it from this really tense pieced together track that it initially was to this really open and like really free form feeling groove, and then the transition that it makes partway through, where in the original it feels more like the beginning half is like the forefront of the track and the back half is more of a kind of gliding outro. This song I feel does the opposite, where it starts out really somber and very smooth and builds into just this absolutely explosive cadence at the end that I really just like. The first minute I heard it, I was like just completely hooked, and it's definitely a superior cover.
This is my time. Get eaten by the worm. Weird fishes.
Liana La Havas, her register and tone
So
is
good.
just so clean and so good, and it works well with
Just
that mix. It's just a really, really clean,
never
crisp
heard
mix.
anybody sing like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for my fourth pick, we're on fourth. I am going with a classic song from a classic album. I'm going with Us and Them from Dark Side of the Moon.
Awesome.
And this song is another one that does atmosphere well. I'm a big atmosphere guy. And what I also love about the song lyrically is that it has one theme and applies it to different situations. And I think like exploring the theme of us and them across, like, whether it's war or whether it's social problems or whatever else the song like will touch on. Like, I think that's a really that's like this song is a masterclass in just theming and being able to carry the theme out throughout the whole thing. And so yeah, that is my fourth pick.
Solid.
What did I add?
Oh,
it?
absolutely. And then especially
cool.
since we were writing this during such a politically charged time, I feel like that
Yeah,
that drives home that
absolutely.
that feeling that we just been going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For my final pick, I'm gonna be choosing Glare by, I think it's Sheep. Where is it?
Ooh, you showed me this recently.
Sheepdog and Wolf.
Yes.
Yes. The harmonies on this are just immaculate, and again it covers the topic of light, just not being prepared to be exposed to light, feeling like you should stay hidden and reserved, and trying to overcome those feelings, and it's done in just a really clean, cleansing way, and I love this song.
There's a fire, but let it try to reach me now. It's cold and dark here underground. I find myself inside.
Last pick. Okay. For my last pick, I am gonna do a relatively recent song, but it's one that I've found has just continued to stay with me and stay really relevant to me. It's called Featherweight by Fleet Foxes. Fleet Foxes is probably my favorite band currently, and just in general one of the best bands I've heard ever, really. Robin Pecknold and his compositions and his voice and his like vocal register are just unprecedented to me. This particular song, I think I heard it just at the perfect time, and I think it spoke to me more than any song I've heard in a really long time. And the way that it sort of is an idea of being caught in like a tide and just learning to kind of, instead of fighting against it or trying to go with it, rather than just forcing yourself into different situations to try and appease the world around you, you kind of just let things fall into place, and sometimes that involves letting things go, and sometimes that involves bringing new things in, and it's just sort of finding the balance between all those things. And I think that song really speaks a lot to that. And it's a really important song for me.
The world I want wasn't near enough. Always distant, always off. In all that war, I'd forgotten how many men might die for what I'd renounce.
Pass it over to Ethan.
All right, for my last song, I'm gonna go with my favorite song from my favorite band, which, like Tim's last song, I feel like I heard it at like the perfect time. It's "Taken for a Ride" by Tally Hall, and this song is a really weird song, and it has like a weird chord progression. It has weird lyrics, and the lyrics are very obscure, and you don't really get a sense of like what exactly he's talking about, but like it's one of those like things where you can just apply what he's saying to like a lot of different like things, and you can kind of interpret the lyrics however you want, and it's very like universal. And I just think that's another song that's like a masterclass in like just writing lyrics and how to just make them universal. And like and this is another like big atmosphere song for me. Like it's just so it has such a big like sound to it, and like it's so theatrical like towards the end, and like with like the weird harmonies that like they do, and oh gosh, I highly recommend this song.
Next, the stranded senate of the white brick house with flowers has some questions for their story. All feeling now, he took his bow and left the stage of time with no answers to no questions.
And that's my last song, and I guess the last song on the playlist.
So, do you gentlemen have any closing words?
No, thank you for having us, and I hope you give this a listen. We hope that a lot of this makes sense in the context of the music that we write, and thank you for having us.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We really want to thank The Range again for having us and for hosting our live session. And you can find The Men from Mars on pretty much every streaming service, and on YouTube, and on Bandcamp. Once again, I'm Tim, this is Josh, this is Ethan. We are The Men from Mars. You can also find us on Instagram or on Gmail at The Men from Mars Music. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you
Thank
guys.
you all
Thank you.
again. Thank you.